I am finally filming this video. I'm actually at work right now on my lunch break and I am in like a conference room. So this might be really weird. The lighting might be terrible, but I wanted to go ahead and film this video, and this is the first chance that I have had to do so where I wasn't like completely exhausted and overwhelmed and everything like that. So today we are going to be talking in depth about how I met Taylor Swift. I know it's crazy. I still can't believe it. I still like haven't fully processed that this is a thing that happened in my life. So it's kind of a crazy story. I'm gonna try to make this not too terribly long-winded, mostly because I do have to get back to work, but also because I don't want to totally bore you guys. Yeah, okay, so let's get into the story because that's what you guys are here for. Anyway, so taking it back to April 30th, which if you saw my tour vlog, you will see that my initial reaction to all of that. But so I'm driving to work and I get a message on Twitter from Taylor Nation, and I see it pop up because my phone sits on my dashboard while I drive, and I saw a notification pop up and it said Taylor Nation has sent you a DM on Twitter, and I start screaming bloody murder. Just, I can't believe it. And then I like go and I'm sitting at a stoplight and I'm like, this is my opportunity, and I tap on it and the message won't load. Like it's buffering, it's buffering, it's buffering. And then I click out of it, I go back, it says I don't have a notification, and I'm like, oh my God, did they take it back? What's happening? So I go to my email because it always sends me an email when I get a DM, and then it kicked it through and I was able to open it. And it said, hey, reaching out on behalf of Taylor Nation. We'd really like to contact you. Can you give us a phone number and a time to reach out? And I am shaking like a leaf. I immediately run inside, and my friend Melissa was there, and she's like, why are you so crazy? What's going on? So I just hand her the phone and she sees, and we're freaking out together. So obviously I give Taylor Nation my information and they don't call for a few more hours. So I am just like anticipating it all day, and Melissa has my phone for something for work, and I'm just like waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for this phone call to come in, and she's using it and a call comes in from a number I don't know. Freak out, grab the phone, and I run into an open conference room here in my office, and I wanted to film my reaction to whatever it was that they said on the phone, but the first thing that the person said was like, I want to make sure this isn't being recorded. So I didn't record it, but I wish I could have, because I wish you could have seen me like flapping around this conference room like a crazy person. But they called, and a wonderful woman on the phone, I won't say her name because I don't know if they want their names out there, but the wonderful woman on the phone who I did actually get to meet at the concert, but she said, hey, so we saw your Look What You Made Me Do reaction video. We really loved it, and Taylor wants to put together a kind of fan reaction thing for the pre-show, and she wants to use your video as part of the pre-show. And of course I'm like freaking out, and I'm like, absolutely, I would love that. They ask if they can use it. I say, yes, please, absolutely, I would love that. That would be amazing. So they are like, great, thank you so much. We're gonna send you some forms to sign, basically saying that they can use the video. And I'm like freaking out. Of course, there's like a hint of disappointment that it wasn't them reaching out for me to meet Taylor. And I was a little tiny bit bummed for like 2 seconds. And then I was like overly excited about the actual opportunity of having my video be on tour with Taylor. Like she was telling me about how it will be part of the pre-show before the whole tour. And it was just like super crazy. And at the end of the phone call, she asked me if I was going to a tour date, and I said, yes, I'll be in Pasadena at night 1. I'm so excited. Like it's gonna be so much fun, and I can't wait to obviously see myself on the big screen. Like that's gonna be crazy. And so she was like, that's so exciting. Are you gonna be bringing anyone with you? I told her about my friend Sydney, and I said, yeah, my friend Sydney is gonna be coming with me. We're both really excited. It's gonna be really fun. And she says, oh, that's great. She was like, when you sign these forms for me, would you mind sending me Sydney's information as well? Like her name, her birthday, whatever. And so I do, and I'm like, what does this mean? And she says, you know, like as a thank you for letting us use your video, we would love to like meet up with you on the day of your show and give you like a special surprise gift. So of course my ass is like, oh my God, is this what I think it is? But at the time, of course, I didn't know, and I didn't want to assume. I didn't want to get my hopes up. It could have been anything. It could have been ticket upgrades. It could have been merch. It could have been anything. So that was on the 30th, and my show wasn't until the 18th. So you can imagine that I was freaking out forever. And so that's great. Message with Taylor Nation, we get everything worked out, and then it's just the waiting game. And luckily a friend of mine was at the opening show in Glendale, so I was able to talk to her and her be like, oh my God, I saw your face and blah, blah. And then I was allowed to tell people. So I was asked, you know, by Taylor Nation to, you know, like, they were like, Taylor really wants to surprise her fans. So please don't say anything until tour starts, and then you can talk about it, but don't talk about this extra special gift that we got you. And so I couldn't say anything, and I was dying. I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to see this and to be able to tell people. It was crazy. And while we were on the phone, of course, she keeps hinting at like how much Taylor loves to surprise her fans. And I'm like, I think I pick up what you're putting down, but I'm not sure. But so I'm hoping that it's what I think it is. And I think that it was a meet and greet, and I was like, but I can't get my hopes up because I'll be devastated if that's not what it is. So I, you know, try my best to carry on 18 days. And then a couple days before tour, I emailed Taylor Nation again, and I said, hey, just checking in to see if there was more information about what I need to do when I get there. They asked me to get there at 5 p.m. And I was like, okay, what do I need to do? I need to like get off work. They email back, hey, please go to will call when you get there before 5 p.m. and there'll be an envelope there with more information. And I immediately knew what it was because I had been on Tumblr and I had seen people tell their story about how they met Taylor in pre-show meet and greet, and it was basically the same story as me. And I was like, oh my God, is this real? Again, I didn't know. So Sydney and I go down there early, as you saw in that vlog. I'm gonna link this vlog. It's got everything from the day, so I'm not gonna go into full detail of that. But then we get there and I pick up an envelope at will call, and when the woman at the will call thing, first of all, they didn't have any idea what I was talking about at first. And I was like, oh my God, what's happening? Why don't they have my envelope? But then they were able to find someone who knew. So they went over, got this envelope, and she like sets the envelope down on the counter and like pulls a piece of paper out of it, and I see that it's bright yellow. And I was like, oh my God, it actually is this, isn't it? And she takes the envelope away and she slides the envelope, so not the papers, the envelope towards me and says, I need you to sign this. And on the envelope is a sticker that says, to Club Olivia, to meet and greet. And I was like, oh my God, I'm like trying not to scream at the will call counter. And I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh God. So I sign it and she slides me the papers and 2 wristbands. And I was like, oh my God, this is actually it. And so of course you saw in that video, ran over to my friends, read the letter, it was real. So I was meeting Taylor Swift, and oh my God, it was the craziest thing in my whole life. So we wait in the area. Again, you can see this in the vlog. We go down to a section where we're supposed to go. Sydney's with me. Sydney is one of my very best friends and was so supportive, and like she knew that this was what was happening, but I like refused to believe it until it was happening. And she was with me, and I got to see my face on the big screen. But we like went to this area, we checked in, they gave us our wristbands, and then we just hung out until they told us where we needed to go. And it turns out I think they stagger the meet and greet time so that there's not like a ton of people in there at the same time, so everybody gets their like fair share of time with Taylor. So my time was 6 p.m. So around 5, probably 50, they put us all in like one section, lined us up, and we got to go in and meet Taylor. And I'm in line, we're waiting, and all of a sudden Selena Gomez's mom walks up. And I'm like, oh my God, Sydney, that's Selena's mom, and I think that's her little sister. And she was super nice. We didn't really like chat, but like I offered to take a photo, and she was like, no, that's okay, but thank you. And like she was super nice, and she was dealing with the 2 little girls. It was great. It was really funny. I was just like, this is so surreal because I'm just like standing next to Selena Gomez's mom, and they started playing Hands to Myself, I think it was. No, Come and Get It. They started playing Come and Get It over the loudspeaker, and the little girls were dancing, and she was like filming it, and I'm like, oh my God, she's probably sending that to Selena. This is the craziest thing ever. But anyway, meet people. There's a lot of nice people. I met a lot of you guys down on the floor while I was waiting, and it was really great. But then they file us backstage. They ask us not to take any photos or videos or anything of backstage, and they walk us honestly not very far backstage. It was like literally around the corner. Like I could have like poked my head out and seen the arena, but they lead us down around a corner, and then there's a table outside of rep room. So there's like this like box like banner around the door that says rep room on it, and I am just like shaking and like really nervous and really excited, but like really overwhelmed, and like the pit of my stomach is just twisted, and I'm like, oh my God, this is really happening. So there's a table outside, and they ask us just to leave all of our stuff there. So I couldn't have my phone, couldn't have my camera, anything like that in the room. So we set that stuff down, and then they lead us into the rep room, and it was amazing. It was like, it was totally empty at the time. And there was probably only like 10 or 15 of us in this particular group, probably less than that, honestly. They lead us in, and it's the rep room, and it's smaller than you think it would be, but at the same time, it's like really cool because there's outfits there. There was like food and drinks and a couch in the middle with like a pillow with her eye on it and like her face on it. And they're playing music. And this is one of my favorite things. And I forgot to tweet this, but we're in line waiting and she's playing Type by Todrick Hall, which is like one of my favorite songs from Forbidden. And she's playing Type and then it plays Troye Sivan. And like there was so much Troye Sivan throughout the whole night in the playlist, but like the fact that it was like playing Troye and Todrick, who both I love, while we're like waiting in line. And my mouth is the Sahara Desert. I'm like so nervous and we're in line and it's like you go through the rep room and then there's a curtain and behind the curtain is where you meet Taylor. And I'm like standing there and I'm kind of watching and they open up the curtain to let the first person in and I just see her standing there and I just was like, oh my God, it's real. And I was like immediately like just turn around and do like this and Sydney's like, what's wrong? And I was like, I just saw her face. I just saw her face. And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. So I'm second to last in line with Sydney. And then there's one other person behind us and it's Selena Gomez's mom. So we're like last in line and we're like waiting and I'm so nervous. And then it finally comes to our turn. We walk up, they give us a card to say like, this is how you pick up your picture. And then you'll get an autograph on the way out. And I was like, okay. And then she, like I hear behind the curtain that she's talking to someone and I can like hear her voice so clearly. And I'm like, oh my God, this is the craziest thing of my whole life. And so like, of course, Taylor Nation is just like so casual about it. Like they do this every day, but they like just like open the thing and they're like, okay, go on in. And then I'm just like face to face with Taylor Swift. And I immediately am like, I don't know what to do. We like walk in and she's immediately like, hey guys, like super nice, excited, like wants, and like immediately goes in for the hug and is like, oh my gosh, so glad you're here. And I'm like, oh my God, this is the craziest thing of my entire life. And I like actually say that. And she was like, oh, I'm so glad you're here, like whatever. And she's like talking to Sydney and then she's like, did you get to see your video? And I was like, yeah, I did. I was like, I just saw it before we came in here. Like, it's so crazy. I can't believe I got picked. Like, that's amazing. And I was like, thank you so much for that. And she was like, your reaction was so adorable. She was like, that was exactly like what we hoped for when we made the song and the video. She was like, what if I just like came up out of the grave as like a dead version of me? And she was like, people will freak out. And she was, the fact that like you had such a good reaction, it was so adorable. And she never like said my name, but I think she did know that it obviously was me. And she was super sweet, but then she's like talking to me and then she like stops and she like looks at me and she like kind of puts her hands on my shoulders and then like takes her hands away. But she was like, your eye makeup. She was like, oh my God, it's like sparkly and whatever. And she was like, and I love your eyebrows. She was like, they're so like sharp and bold. And I was just like, and Sydney goes, that is literally the best compliment you could have ever given her. And I was, oh my God, thank you so much. She was like, they're just like so bold. And she's like, I love the sparkle. And she's like, she's like really good at that. And I was like, oh my God, this is the craziest thing ever. And then I got to tell her, you know, I was like, I've been a fan of yours for like 12 years and this is so crazy and I'm so happy to meet you. And I just want to say like how crazy it is that like YouTube is like what I want to do with my career, and the fact that like that's the thing of mine that you recognized and you're celebrating and you put on your tour. I was like, it's so crazy and it's like the coolest opportunity of my whole life. And she was like, thank you, that's so sweet. I'm so glad that like you got to be a part of it and that you got to be here and I got to meet you, and like crazy. And then she's like, do you want to grab a picture? So we take our picture. They take 2 pictures. So we did one kind of like standing and then one hugging, and the hugging one ended up being the one that we got. And she was so sweet and she was like, it was so lovely to meet you guys. Like, thank you so much. And was so sweet. And then was like, oh, have fun. You're gonna have a blast tonight. And I was like, we'll be in Club Olivia. In that section, she was like, oh my God, then I'll definitely see you. Not realizing that she was literally gonna fly above us in Delicate, like literally like as close as I was standing and talking to her in that moment, she was like floating above us. But she was like, I'll definitely see you guys then. Like, go have so much fun and dance a lot and whatever. And we were like, thank you. And then that was it. And we left. They handed us an autographed picture. And then we got to then go and sit in Club Olivia, which was like a little kind of like pergola, for lack of better terms, that had like cushioned seats and free water and soda and stuff like that. And we went and sat in our seats. And then we had the most amazing time ever. And that's the story of how I met Taylor Swift. It's crazy, it's wonderful. And also like the most commonly asked question I've gotten is, what does she smell like? She just smells warm. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but like she just smelled like warm and welcoming. And it was so crazy that I was like, also she's like ungodly beautiful. Like her skin is flawless, her hair was perfect, her eyes are super bright blue. blue. She had this cute outfit on. We all kind of matched, which was great. Like the Taylor Nation lady was like, okay, you guys are all in black too. Like you guys are gonna match so well. And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. But yeah, I mean, that's it, you guys. That's what happened. We talked for like 3 minutes, took a photo. She kind of knew who I was, I think. And it was absolutely incredible and one of the best nights of my entire life. And that's the story. So if you guys haven't seen the full vlog of the day, it's a long one, but it is so much fun and I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Happy to answer any questions I have below. I obviously cannot give out who I talked to or any of that information. Getting picked is an honor, but it's also not something you can necessarily ask for, I guess. It's just something that happens and they pick people and Taylor picked me, which is crazy. I still can't believe that's real. So that's all I've got for you today. Thanks for watching, you guys. Let me know if you have any more comments, and thanks for coming along on this journey with me. It has been absolutely incredible. So love you guys. In the meantime, my name is Parker. This is Stories in the Dust, and I really hope you stick around a while. Bye guys.